Okay.
Se menea.
Se menea la cadera, se menea la cadera. Cuando vayas al mar.
Cuando vayas al mar.
No te quites los calzones porque la jaiba te va a morder. Te va a morder.
You know which one?
Producción, can you put una cumbia? I love cumbia. That's it. I just wanted to hear it.
Have you seen the one where it's which one is it? It might be that same one.
Ajá.
Cuando vayas al mar.
No te quites los calzones. No, it's not that song, but it's the same group. First of all, huge shout out to los Tritraquis. Is that what they're called?
Isn't it that song?
No, it's a different song.
Which one?
Isn't it a cover? Not a cover, but a guy trying to sing the original song, but he doesn't
Yeah,
know the song.
yeah.
But isn't it that song?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Look it up, because now I'm gonna be pissed if you're right.
Come on,
I need to be right.
We're 2-1. We gotta disprove this.
I mean, look that song. Are you looking that song up?
Yeah, it's this one.
That's incorrect.
Yeah.
That is incorrect.
Yeah,
That's
it's
not...
like or something like that. No?
Can you find that part? This. Oh Jesus! You pissed me off at the fact that you threw the groove off of this song.
No manches, pues cómo íbamos a saber.
You don't understand the lyrics?
Wait, let it continue. Sí, cajete, no. Ese gordo que le puso. That's not la jaiba. Anyways. We're getting way. That's just ridiculous.
You're right. Hold up. Can we settle this?
Bitch.
Can we settle this?
No.
We have to settle this.
We're getting too Latin.
Kiss.
You were right on the song, but you were so off on the group.
Okay.
Can we settle this?
This is the original song, though.
Right.
Yeah. But if it makes you guys feel better, I had no idea what you guys were saying. I didn't know the group or the song.
Okay, can we settle this? Right here.
Can you settle this? Producción, can you
this handshake right here?
Stretch my hand, producción.
No. This.
Producción, can you stretch my hand? Can you...
Thank you.
God. Oh, man.
Wow.
That's gonna leave a mark. I know for a fact.
Yeah, you're gonna need to stretch that out.
I put so much pressure on my hand.
Thank you so much for that. And you know what? I appreciate that because this handshake really solidifies us ending racism.
Anyways,
you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to another great episode of Los Brownies Podcast. If you guys don't know who I am, you don't have to fucking worry about anything, okay? My name is Cheeto.
My name is Joanna.
And I'm Jesse.
And we are
Los Brownies.
That's right. How are you guys? How are you guys doing? I want everybody to know, I want la audiencia to know that we are recording on a work day. You heard it.
Yeah.
It is Wednesday, June
4th. Yep.
2025. What's your work day? How was your guys' work? Did you guys have a good time at work?
I did. I had a fantastic time today. It was just chill day. I had some guy come in. He was wearing sandals. I'm like, you know what?
Fucking sick,
dude. Like, hell yeah. Where are you going after?
Where are we going?
Like, what's the vibe for today?
Nice.
Nice.
What about you? You literally just got here, bitch.
I literally
you
just
got
got
here,
here,
took a fat shot, and then walked
and then
in
here I am. I just changed shirts, but I was wearing another shirt, but it was more lace. It was a lace. So
this is a nice shirt.
Thank you. I totally unintended, and then I was wearing like a work skirt with my lace top, and I had a leather jacket. And I was low-key giving, like, goth vibes at work. I walk in, and they're like, okay, what? Like, it's no shocker that I wear all black to work.
Yeah.
But it was weird because I had, like, the jewelry, and then the lace, and then the leather jacket.
You were My Chemical Romancing everything?
I was giving them goth vibes, and they're like, okay, like, we like this look. And then we had breakfast at work. Shout out to work. They fucking fed us, which was great. We had breakfast. And a year ago at work, we wrote down 3 goals that we wanted to achieve. And then they gave them back to us.
Oh, like for the year, right?
Yeah. And they're like, have you achieved it? I looked at mine and said, absolutely not.
So we'll try again next year.
What'd you write?
What did I write? I wrote to be more organized. I wrote get my life together, which now that I think about it, that's very hard to measure. Because what does it even mean?
Right.
One that I did achieve was to travel more. And we did. We went to Europe. We traveled to Italy, to Germany. We went to France. We've been to San Francisco. We went to Berkeley, right? I have achieved that. We have achieved that, which is nice.
Yeah.
But then I was like, you know what, you guys, at the end of the day, this is all pretend. It doesn't matter. There are people dying. Once we can measure things in terms of human deaths, then that's when I'll care. And then I have a coworker, I love him. He's like, you just amplify the gothy.
Yeah.
Like,
you put on those clothes, that character, and you ran with it.
That's fucking right.
It was not,
That's
I love your
respect. That's
commitment.
respect.
I didn't even mean to, but I was like, guys, at the end of the day, this is just all pretend. There are people dying.
Yeah.
There's a war. This doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I
love that.
just
That's
I was,
facts.
so I began this goth mood, and because of that, I decided to go to Dunkin' Donuts, get a pink spritz. Shout out.
Nice. I have a question
yeah.
for you guys. Why you say that? Maybe it might be a little too serious. I don't know, but I genuinely want to know. I want to talk real quick about Latino influencers.
Okay.
With that topic that you mentioned.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about Latino influencers that don't speak up about current life or political events that are going on?
I don't think, it's very difficult because who are we to tell people what to say?
Yeah.
What's right and what's wrong? We do it because we think it's important. That's not what our whole podcast is about, though.
Right.
But we like to amplify these important news that we find important.
Yeah. But that's us.
That's us,
Yeah.
right? That's what I'm saying.
What do you think of them?
Yeah, that's what I have to say. Like, I think I think not bringing it up because that's not what their influence.
Their shit, pues. That's not really
what
the...
there is one thing, but completely trying to eradicate it like it doesn't exist is a whole different thing.
Right. Okay, so what do you think?
Yeah.
Before I give
just
a
like
little bit more.
lack of commentary for anything like major
Yeah,
that's
like
going on with
they don't
the
bring
world.
up anything.
Yeah, I do find it very like I question it a lot.
Yeah.
Where it's like, why aren't you saying anything? Especially
Yeah.
because like with ICE, and
Yeah.
a lot of Latino influencers aren't saying anything. In my
Right.
mind, I'm like, why aren't you saying anything? This
Yeah.
is who you are. This is part of your identity. Plus, like your followers, your supporters, it's majority Latinos, So it's like, why
Yeah.
aren't you saying anything? And people that do say something and they do speak up, I have like they gain my respect
Yeah.
1,000 times more.
Yeah.
But when they don't say anything, I'm just kind of like,
Yeah.
It makes you wonder.
What's going on?
Yeah.
What do you believe in? What are your values if you're not saying anything?
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I agree.
Okay, since you asked, let me tell you what I think.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really honest with you guys. I mentioned it once, but I think Craig maybe cut it off or something, so it probably didn't make it to the actual episode. There's another podcast, se llaman Todo Chido podcast. We met them,
Yeah.
and
Shout out
there's
to them.
they I
They're
know
very smart people.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they are. They
Very,
are.
very
Huge
smart
shout out
people.
to them.
Yeah.
I know that their podcast isn't like the theme of their podcast isn't political. They just happen to be speaking about a lot of politics.
Yeah.
And I get that. And before there was, and I have to keep it real with everyone, también, right? In my mind, when we started this, I was like, okay, I don't want to say some stuff that low key the idea of being canceled is
Kind of fun.
kind of. I don't know, man. It's like I don't know. It's
Maybe it's
like
because I'm goth. I'm goth.
no. Like it. Okay, yeah, I can say like it's like maybe it's cunty to be canceled. I don't know, right? That sounds fun, but you remember when we first had a video
I'm
that
joking.
kind of blew up,
Yeah.
and then we were all a little like stressing out and like full of anxiety, and I feel like it was a really positive thing, but we were full of anxiety. Right,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
so. Think about that, but like in such a huge aspect of
Yeah.
it, right?
In
Yeah.
a negative connotation.
Yeah.
Right?
So at first, the reason why I bring up that podcast is because I love how they're unapologetically themselves and talk about whatever they want to talk about. And I think they kind of influence that onto this podcast as well, where I don't want to be afraid to
speak your mind.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right?
you shouldn't.
Now, with that being said, I want to say Latino influencers, big Latino influencers.
Name them.
Oh!
You really want to talk that shit? You better name them.
You're a messy bitch. You're a messy bitch.
Drop the names.
Okay, Latino influencers that use the Mexican audience, but then don't speak up for the culture.
Yeah.
Number one, James Charles.
James Charles?
James
Our
Charles
Latina queen.
James Charles is my Latina
Don't
queen.
do it, little girl. Do not do it.
No.
Do not disrespect that woman. Do not disrespect her.
No, I'm kidding. I let me see. Latino influencers that don't speak up. I'm gonna be real with you.
I don't know anybody like
I don't really know any.
Of my mind.
Yeah, I don't.
And
either.
I don't really follow that
like
style of, because unfortunately I don't think there's enough influencers that make content that I genuinely like.
Yeah.
Or genuinely want to.
We're also a piece of shit, but
we're a different age group. I'm gonna say that it's probably that.
Yeah.
And
for sure.
I'm not really into certain content stuff, right?
Yeah.
It might be for the younger generation, but
yeah.
Maybe we're that.
Yeah.
Those influencers are we influencers?
I don't
Are we
know.
influencers?
We're not influencing
I don't-
anybody.
I
The only thing we're influencing you is going straight to hell. That's the only thing I know.
That's the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't.
No, that's okay.
you
It's
know?
a good topic. And you know what? It's a nice transition to talk about everything, like slightly of what's going on with all the deportations that people are doing. Like, that's disgusting.
It is
Ridiculous with a
Yeah.
giant dick.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
You want to know something else?
You
right?
fail. Have you seen what the video in San Diego that they were deporting?
Yes,
The ICE. And did you shout out? Look, I'm gonna cry. Shout out to the white people in San Diego because they're like, get your hands off these Mexicans. Imagine, get your hand off these beaners.
It's a backhanded compliment.
I know. Shout out to the San Diegoians. Is that how you say them?
Yeah.
Shout out to people in San Diego because no se dejaron regardless of what it is. And that's what it's all about. Like the community coming together.
Yeah.
Is ICE in Santa Ana right now? Does anybody know?
Yeah.
Do you want to call them?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Fuck yeah.
Fails. Who invited
Look,
them?
let me tell you.
Isn't there sanctuary
Well,
cities?
they're coming after sanctuary cities now.
Why?
Because they don't care.
Yeah, because it's like sanctuary cities to them. It's like putting a target and be like sanctuary cities. Oh, okay, this
Y'all
is
motherfuckers
What are we
are
saying?
here.
this is
sanctuarying
exactly
again.
this is where we want to be.
Que feo.
Yeah.
Right, anyways, there's
Fails.
a bill that I was very vocal to you guys about a while ago, que se llama the Big Beautiful
The
Bill.
BBB?
Exactly.
The big beautiful
BBB.
bill.
The Big
What's
Beautiful
so beautiful
Bill.
about it?
So recently, as of this morning, right?
Yeah.
The bill already got passed by, I think, the House or whatever the fuck they're. Sorry, y'all. Don't be taking.
He didn't go to school. Sorry.
Don't be taking our This is just a recap of what you should be looking up
That's
yourself.
right.
You know.
This is a recap of what you should know already.
Yeah. And ¿cómo se llama the big back butch blonde?
Big
Marjorie-
back.
Speaker?
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Marjorie Green Taylor.
Yeah, the big
For example,
back
put a-
butch blonde bitch.
For example, put a picture of Marjorie Green Taylor here.
Oh my god, no warning either?
I'm sweating a little bit. I am so sorry, everybody. Craig, what the fuck was that, man? I said a picture, not a jump scare.
That shit made me sick. She's fucking disgusting, dude.
Listen, this hoe that voted yes to pass this bill, and just another really butched up recap of what the bill says.
Yeah.
It's
No pun
basically
intended.
Gonna raise taxes on lower communities to lower the taxes on the rich 1%ers. And so that means Medi-Cal, Medicaid, all of that. There's gonna be like a $4.3 billion cut.
Tax cut.
Horrendous. Actually, don't mark my words on that. That might be the education. No, I'm talking.
I don't. it
Which is
doesn't-
worse. Which is, I mean, not worse. Okay, but like it's like an equal balance of shit, right?
No,
The
their
point is that they're cutting out useful
yes.
reseries that
Yeah.
benefits a lot of
Exactly.
low-income
Exactly.
communities. Yes.
That's so horrendous. Like honestly,
Yeah.
en serio.
Now, please, those of you tuning in right now,
Yeah.
please, I don't want you to think, oh my gosh, this is a political podcast. This is these
But these are important.
these are really
questions.
important things. If you guys are a fan of us, first subscribe, like, and comment.
Yeah, tell your mom.
But in like for real, like the reason why we talk about these things is because these things are like they're gonna affect our lives. They are already affecting our lives and your lives. And if there's anything out of this whole thing, even if you skipped through this whole first topic of like a little bit of like recapping what's going on right now, if there's anything that we want you to take from this is to remember where our family comes from.
That's right.
Remember our roots, our values. And here in Los Brownies Podcast, we encourage you guys to live by a very important saying that we like to really live by, which is, si hay pa mí, hay pa todos. Donde hay piso, hay cama.
Right.
So I really hope to translate it.
I know, somebody press the SIP button.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, to translate that for those of you struggling to understand that, fucking loser. We encourage love and no, which is, you know, if there's enough for me, there's enough for everybody. Where there's a floor, there's a bed.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
If there's anything you can take from all of this, is that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know what I was reading? I was reading online that we're so divided politically, right? As a country, a lot of Republicans get shut down or ashamed for having certain ideas, which I'm not opposed to because some of them are pretty horrendous. But I think the more you attack that person on being you're a piece of shit for voting for Trump, look what you're doing, blah, 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 that's only going to amplify their anger. And so I always say that I think the best thing we can do is just to like sit down and talk about it and bring each other's perspectives.
Can I be honest with you? I've been talking about this with Joanna for a while.
Yeah.
With recent events that I've confronted certain individuals in certain heated conversations.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Remember what I was telling you? That I was really struggling with the idea of being near someone who has very far right-sided views.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember what my resolution for that?
You just agree with them?
No.
You said it. You told me, I think.
I told you guys, didn't I?
I think
You just kind of like make fun of them.
To
There
fuck
we
with
go.
them. Fuck with them.
So,
yeah. But like, pero siguiéndole la corriente. That's what I mean by...
Maybe... Okay, not let me be more clear.
Yeah.
Not by
Because-
agreeing with them, like, oh yeah, I'm on the same page, but more of like amplifying their own beliefs. That way they see how crazy they sound.
Yes. Okay, because and I think of that when you say that, you know,
Yeah.
maybe it's time for us
That's
to
a good
talk.
idea. Yeah.
I am not too sure. I might have to even disagree with you and your Mother Teresa example
I'm
right
in my
here.
goth era. That's why.
Exactly.
I'm in my goth era.
That's
pero
very anti-goth of you.
I don't know.
That's
That's
true.
kind of anti-goth.
I'm sorry. My apologies. Never mind. Just rip his dick off. Grab his dick and twist it.
Pero I have to disagree with that only because I feel like I've tried having, and you guys know how I get very
Passionate.
I get so passionate that then I get pissed off,
heated.
and I don't want to be the.
He breaks out in hives.
Dude, you
Yeah.
get high blood pressure.
No, I get hives. That's why I got back knee, dude. That's why Joanna's always like, "Gordo, te puedo, para
pop.
Te puedo hacer pop."
I hate you guys.
No, because it sucks.
Bring an
because
example. Come on,
Yeah.
just say an example, because I don't think we're gonna get the point across if you don't provide an example.
No, but hold up, I have to now because then now I feel like I'm gonna go crazy. I'll bring up the example as well.
Okay.
But basically, what I'm trying to say is that I've tried having certain conversations with certain individuals,
Yeah.
and the way I approach these conversations is I'm trying to almost convince them to see that what the values that they think aren't
wrong.
like ethical. They're wrong. They're inhumane.
Yeah.
And then it kills me, and it really hurts my ego when they're trying to counter certain like inhumane values with what I believe is like just more ethical, right?
Yeah.
So because I was going in to these conversations trying to convince people to like stop thinking that way, it was just hurting me even more. So then I'm like, you know what? Why am I damaging myself like that? Now I do that exactly, right? You tell me like, it's because it gets kind of super controversial in a way, right?
Yeah.
So give me like the most far right idealism that you can think of right now.
Like
Okay.
Fuck.
Right.
Is that too much?
Okay, yeah.
No, let me take it back.
Sorry. Oh my God, I can't believe I said okay too.
You're like, let's roll with it.
How about this? Women are not equal members of society.
Okay, exactly that. So when like if a guy tells me that, and I just think to myself like, this is the most stupidest thing I've ever heard. It's just so wrong. It's so wrong. The way I go about that, instead of trying to convince them, I'll be like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. Like, they shouldn't even exist.
Oh, yeah.
And then now they're like, oh, wait a minute. I didn't say that. I'm like, no, bro.
Okay.
Like, no, right?
Oh,
I see where you're going.
Yeah,
up to it.
yeah.
That's right.
So now I kind of like, I go along with it,
them,
but I one-up them. And I'm like almost salivating. Like, yeah, motherfucker.
That's funny.
So then that
interesting.
kind of, and it makes me feel better. I
let me
walk
ask you
away
something.
so much happier.
Let me be the devil's advocate for a moment.
Amen.
Just for a little bit, right? You were mentioned that certain ideas and values, you're like, how could you believe this? This is so immoral and unethical, right?
Yeah.
How is that determined? What makes you think that your ideas and what you believe is moral and the right thing to do?
Yeah.
And someone might be literally manipulated into believing that the opposite of you is the right.
Sometimes I do have that idea in my mind where, and I've told,
you're not gonna convince people to go your way, especially some other
more than that,
not to go your way, but you're not gonna convince people very easily to agree with you, especially when you talk about heated topics like that, and then with another dusty ass man, like it's. There's two egos fighting. It's not even logic. It's egos fighting.
It's even more than that. I would say like sometimes I have this self-argument in myself when I would try to convince other people to think more, and I'll say quote unquote humane.
Yeah.
Where I'm almost and sometimes self-doubting myself. Well, who's to say that I'm actually in the right?
But anyways,
you guys.
It's not even what we're talking about.
It's not what we're talking
already
about.
75. We're 3 days in already. We're 3 days in on this topic.
Jesse's right. We're not here to talk about just that.
No.
But we are here to talk about a topic that I think is really important to us. And it should be really important to everybody.
Yeah.
And this topic, I want to say kind of arose. I mean, it arose a long time ago. But recently it arose because I was going through a little predicament.
All right.
I was working, and then I was just in my own thoughts, and I was thinking, hey, I'm a guy, and I feel like I am very in tune with my masculine side, but I feel like I'm also very in tune with my feminine side.
Yeah.
And I think that physically I'm very masculine looking, and then what do you call all this?
Diva.
Yeah, But I think my mannerisms, there we go, are very flamboyant, very,
Salseros.
and so then it got me thinking, okay, but like, are my mannerisms being flamboyant? Does that even mean that's...
What does that even mean?
Does that's feminine, you know?
Yeah.
And then Joanna and I had a conversation last time where I told Joanna, I was like, look, I have never seen anything more powerful. Some people can like look at a soldier in Iraq and fucking bah, 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 and think, whoa, this is powerful, man. I saw a model doing not a catwalk, but a horse walk. And I told Joanna, there to me is nothing more powerful, more like giving off fucking
big dick energy,
exactly. But the way I said it, Joanna got me thinking, and I said, this to me is so masculine, because I kind of unconsciously associated masculine with strong.
Bold, strong, yeah.
And Joanna was like, well, this can be feminine and also be just as fucking strong. What's up with you, boy?
That's right.
Gotta check him real quick, bro.
Like, meet me outside, bitch.
Yeah. So it got me thinking, okay. And then I immediately went to TikTok. I stopped Googling shit a long time ago. And I Googled, what does being feminine mean? And I swear to you, I could not find the single answer. And I'm here to ask you guys, what does it mean to be feminine? Like,
Oh,
please tell me, what does it
I
mean to
did
be
study
feminine?
for this question.
I can pull up
Okay,
Merriam-Webster.
but for real,
Let's
like,
see what this bitch says.
Just out of like the bullshit of my brain.
Yeah.
What does femininity mean to me?
Yes.
To me.
Wait. Yeah,
Oh,
before
okay.
you ask,
No,
I
I
want to
haven't-
know. Yeah, because this is the only time I get to have your genuine like thought about what that means
okay,
before you look it up. Yeah.
To me, femininity means beauty. It means
Can I counter like
to be
Not yet.
strength,
Okay,
to be
sorry.
strong, and to be very centered and very grounded.
Okay.
That's what femininity means to me.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does it mean to you?
I think for me, it means, like Jesse said, beauty, confidence, courage, grace.
Okay, you did not study. 'Cause that's
Boldness.
what she just said, girl. No.
I think she's taking it more, and it's so funny because it kind of matches her personality.
Yeah.
She's taking it more in like I'm a very, very graceful kind of femininity and beauty.
I don't know. Is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
because that's
I
literally what
feel
she's
like-
saying.
look,
Keep
when
going.
When I think of like femininity, I think of all the women in my life, and I feel like all the women in my life have very strong. They're very more like get shit done attitudes.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like when I compare that to like masculine men, it's always like they can't do shit for themselves. You know, and so when I think about femininity, yeah, I'm sorry. When I think about femininity, I just think of
Getting shit
that
done.
boldness, that strength, courage, grace.
Grace.
You know,
Okay.
finding ways to do things on their own instead of,
Yeah.
that's
Right.
I guess what I think of it.
Okay. Please chat GPT that shit right
What do you
now.
think it is?
But do you see what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
isn't that kind of a difficult question?
Yeah, it is really difficult.
Like, what really does it mean? And I really wanted to know because my whole life I know I say this a bunch of times, and I know y'all are tired of this shit. But my dad worked all the time.
yeah.
Shout out
We
to
get
him.
it, dude. He didn't like you.
And my mom, and then I had both my sisters. So I grew up only with women around me, and also I don't have a lot of male cousins either.
Right.
You know, and so
That you're close to. Like super close to.
right, that I'm super close to, literally. So to me, right, like the only definition of like growing up of being feminine was what I got to see with you, my other sister, and my mom. And to me, I've always just thought like, okay, well, I'm also feminine, and I don't, because I like growing up with you guys, I felt like monkey see, monkey do.
Yeah.
Certain things you would say, certain things you guys would do, whether they were flamboyant or not, I always felt comfortable doing that as well because it's like, to me, you were more than just a girl.
Yeah.
You were more than just a sister.
I was that bitch.
Oh, you were a woman.
That's right. Don't do it, little girl.
No, but like, you guys were people.
Yeah.
And I think to me, that's why I'm so very like,
So what does
Okay.
femininity mean to you?
you know what I mean? Fuck, I'm getting so lost. Because to me, I'm like,
Don't think
I
about
don't-
it too hard. It's
Just what
okay.
comes to your head.
what does feminine mean to me?
Yeah.
Being feminine to me means being strong. It means being smart, intelligent. It means being emotionally aware. To me, being feminine means very free.
Expressive. Okay, free.
Yeah.
Damn, I think you're breaking it down really well, actually. That's nice.
That-
You're really breaking it down.
That to me.
Hey, I break it down. Hey. Do you remember? Oh, is it my turn? My bad.
Just
Sorry.
flat all over your face. Yeah.
It fell on the floor.
So-
I'm sorry.
And-
I didn't
and-
catch it.
And like all of that are like characteristics that I
Yeah.
grew up with from my mom, my other sister, and you.
Yeah.
That's really nice. Actually, I like that a lot better than what I said, actually. Femininity.
It's because he sees an outside perspective.
He does.
And you're living in.
You're
in it.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
I didn't even occur to me femininity, freedom,
Yeah.
intelligence, emotionally aware. Like those are so good.
That is emotional
Damn.
awareness.
Okay.
Yeah. You ate that little pizza.
You
Podcast
ate that.
over, guys. Podcast over. Turn this shit off.
You ate that little
Thank
piece. Oh,
you.
you went like this. and swallow
No, baby
Yeah,
girl,
it's
I
so
went like this.
delicious.
That was good.
Okay.
For once, I'm agree with you.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, what is
What a chatty do.
Okay, so
Don't tell me we wasted out here 25,000 gallons of water for that answer.
just for this answer, but look at all the information she gave me, okay? Okay, so I asked the question of like what is femininity and also how is femininity viewed with younger generations, and I also asked it how it's viewed in older generations.
Okay.
Because I feel like that has changed over the years.
Yeah.
Love it.
So femininity refers to qualities, behaviors, and roles traditionally associated with being female. These can include things like nurturing, empathy, sensitivity, gentleness, grace, beauty, and emotional expressiveness. But what counts as feminine has always been shaped by culture, history, and personal beliefs.
Right.
It's not fixed, and it varies a lot depending on the time and the place. So younger generations, from like what I'm kind of like getting the gist of it, is they see it as a personal expression to define themselves or reject entirely, whereas older generations saw femininity as a social expectation to live up to.
Our girl Chatty mentioned that femininity included words like gentle, nurturing. You know, it just, I hate to be dramatic, infuriates me that we have to be responsible for nurturing other people. AKA men. Like, it makes me so angry that role was put on us. And I very, very not abruptly, what's the word? I very cynically, I'll say, reject that. And then fuck you and go talk to your mom if you have a problem.
And I genuinely love that because it's the same thing with like a lot of like, okay, when I was telling Joanna about that, the horse walk, which by the way, if you guys don't know,
can we show us a horse walk? Oh my God, look at her.
So basically that's what a horse walk is.
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, I think that shit is so powerful. To me, there's like, it's just strong. And I told Joanna when I described that for one of like the first times, I described it as very masculine. I told Joanna one of the most masculine things I've ever seen is a horse walk. And what I really meant to say was that walk is just so powerful.
Yeah.
Pero I don't know why I said masculine, right? Pero
well,
maybe because in my mind
associated to power and strength to masculinity.
I mean? And so and as soon as you told me that, I was like, okay, I fucking refuse to think that femininity can't be strong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but of course, I already knew that, but I don't know why. I mean, just kind of, I don't know. It's unlearning a lot of these things, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And I think, again, right, I know what you guys are thinking. Like, don't log off yet.
Don't do it, little girl.
Don't do it, little girl. Listen, you guys, like, the essence of this episode, this is just really important because I want all of us to really understand what all of this means, because wanting to be very like pro-feminine and a feminist does not mean that we want to get rid of masculinity.
No, of course not.
Does not, and that's the essence of this episode.
Yeah.
I want us to all acknowledge that we're not saying that we hate masculinity. We're not saying that we want to get rid of it.
Absolutely not.
However, there's always room for a lot of improvement. And I would say that it goes for both. In this case, though, I just want to praise the idea of what it means to be feminine, because to me, again, right, I grew up, and the only male figure I had was my dad, who I think happens to be a traditional Mexican masculine kind of guy. So to me, I'm like, okay, I fuck with that, but I also fuck with the way, my mom kind of taught me too, right? So I just want us to get that for today's episode.
I have a question for you. What do you consider masculine? We'll go on the other side. What do you consider to be masculine? What are some masculine qualities?
Strong.
Okay.
Assertive. Dominant. And initiative.
Okay.
I don't know, right?
Taking initiative.
Yeah, initiative. And okay, so I'll start off with that.
Okay.
I'll start off with that.
That's good.
Right?
Good qualities.
What about you? What's your definition?
I don't even know, to be honest. For some reason, the first thing I think of is dirty.
Well, hold up before we get to that, because I also want to talk about that.
Dirty, like sucios, like they have sticky hands and food on their beard. Like
I mean, yeah. Before we get to that, give me the other words también, because I also want to focus a little bit on that side, because how you kind of said that, I kind of had the outside perspective of, what would describe something someone that's feminine.
Yeah.
I want to give you the my inside perspective of why I say that as a who I consider a masculine guy, describing what it means to be masculine. So what else describes to you masculine?
That's the first thing that came to me is like sucios. Like, pero no sucios like perversos. Although perversos is one of them.
Right.
Sucios as in like they have like their hands are dirty, their feet are dirty. I bet their assholes stinks, like that kind of sucio.
Yeah.
But also like perversos.
Okay,
animales.
but keep going. God damn. Yeah, but keep going. Yeah, no.
I'm trying to think. Espérame pues. Animales.
Chill, bro.
I know. Let it come to me organically.
Okay.
Add impatient to the list, Jesse.
Impatient. Yeah, that's right. Okay. Curly hair, Jeffrey Dahmer looking motherfucking bitch. I do think strong, but I beg to differ because femininity can also be strong.
Right. Which is why I also
said, but they can overlap too. So.
Yeah, they both can exist.
Don't think about it too.
But I do more strong. Like big.
Okay.
Grande.
Can I ask you something
Taking
in between you
space.
answering that question? Are you trying? Like, are you
It's because first of all, it's masculinity is not on my radar. I could give a fuck. Right. So I actually never really thought to break it down.
Why you think then? Let me move forward to Joanna.
I think big egos, small brain.
I love that. Damn, the mask community is gonna come for us.
I'm sorry.
Go for it.
What else?
It's
useless.
Hard, right? Yeah, it's hard.
Selfish.
Yeah.
Stinky, yeah.
Stinky, thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like when I think of masculinity in its toxic form, I'm like, oh Lord, like
I want you to think of masculinity in all forms.
I can only think of masculinity in its toxic form because that's what I've seen majority of my life. Yeah, the only like masculine, like the other like spectrum of the masculinity would be more guys that are more like feminine, like you, and I feel like they don't even go in that category for me because it's like.
Did you just call me gay?
Facts? No.
We already knew that though.
We're all a little gay. Remember, we're all a little gay on the inside.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to
it is hard.
like put them together because I think when I think of masculinity, it's always an extreme of being toxic.
Yeah.
Very much like they're selfish, you know, they have big egos and that's just they operate on a big ego and that's it.
That's so funny that you mentioned useless because it's hard to find an adjective because I just think animales, sucios, perversos, grandes, you know, like
just negative.
It's very, very caveman-esque.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I think of masculinity.
Can you do me a favor, actually?
Yeah?
Can you ask ChatGPT
the same?
Yeah,
you know
ask it the same.
I don't mean to offend anyone. I mean, look, I love me. I love me to have 12 men around me.
Is it okay if I take on the more masculine audience under my shoulder? Is it okay for me to represent?
Yes.
Okay. Can
be
you
their
take
lawyer.
off your feminine mask to put on your masculine mask?
Yes, I can. For everyone who is listening right now and you describe yourself as more masculine, and if you're I don't trust me if you do see yourself as more masculine,
Yeah.
and you genuinely are like in a way like, yo,
You're
I low key might unsubscribe to this podcast.
Yeah, like, why
'cause
are these
these
bitches
two
reading
hoes
me?
are reading the shit out of me, right?
It's not my intention. I'm sorry.
Mira, por favor, porfis, do me a favor, just stick through this just a little longer, okay? Like, these are the conversations that we need to have. Really.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
Stick
laughing
through it.
because I'm
Well,
thinking that my dumbass stretched my whole hand. I'm sorry. Yeah, no, like I'm sorry. Those are just the words that come to me. It's not my intention to offend anybody,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying to come for the boys, because I said it. I love me some boys. Get me 12 of them around me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be very happy.
All right.
I'll be like, hey, what's up?
Did you find anything?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so masculinity refers to the traits, behaviors, and roles traditionally associated with being male. These often include strength, leadership, stoicism, independence, competitiveness, assertiveness, and emotional restraint.
That's really sad.
And so I also asked it, like, what is it viewed in the older generations as well as the younger ones. So older generations, it's more of like the tough guy model. So it was closely tied to physical and emotional toughness. Men were expected to be providers, protectors, and problem solvers. So emotions, anything like sadness, vulnerability, or fear were often seen as unmasculine. So that's why they were very emotionally repressed. And then that's where phrases like man up, boys don't cry, and be a real man reflected those values.
Boys Don't Cry.
Yes.
The last song I ever heard from that boy group. Do you remember?
No.
Boys Don't Cry.
No. Who's that?
It's all about you, girl.
On
your 16th birthday.
That's all I know.
That's all I know,
actually.
too.
Yeah. Okay.
And then today in younger generations, it's a growing push to redefine masculinity, of course, to include vulnerability, emotional intelligence, empathy, care work, and softness.
Okay.
And they're openly more talking about their mental health, self-care, and seeking emotional support. So that's
What
just
a
the main
fucking change,
differences.
Let me say this. As I represent my masculine audience listening in right now, with what Joanna just said, let me just paraphrase that. So being masculine is still a working, it's still a working
it's
word.
Still like a working theory.
It's
you know?
still a working word that's being added onto, right? Hey guys, guess what? This is part of society. This is part of our evolution. As you can't tell me we're too intelligent to not allow this evolution to go on.
Of course, yeah.
So this word is still being worked into. We're still
Right.
trying to define because we're adding stuff to it.
Right.
Because to be masculine doesn't just mean that you're strong. It doesn't just mean that you have leadership skills. And it doesn't just mean that you restrain your emotions. Because now we're adding what has been defined as feminine. Being more open to your emotions, being more gentle, being more self-aware, being so nurturing. Guess what? That is what you call balance of masculine and feminine.
And that's
There's nothing wrong with that. But when we work in unity, that's what
yeah.
I want us to get out of this episode. Because I genuinely feel in my mind, I genuinely feel that I can hold whenever I want both sides of being feminine and being masculine. Now, with that being said, time. A ver, production, go ahead and put that theme song that I told you about. It's time to check Cheeto. Okay, now.
Cheeto check.
Cheeto check.
Cheeto check.
It's
And we're not
time,
talking about the finger check.
it's time to check Cheeto. It's
All
time
right.
to check my privilege
All right.
being a man.
All right.
Oh.
Because even though I feel happy, I feel okay with the idea that I can balance both masculine and feminine sides, guess what?
What?
What do you think will be told to you guys, you girls, if you guys start showing more masculine?
I'm a bitch.
That's it.
See, this is what's really fucked up.
Or that I
Or you're
that
mean.
Or that I'm
a
Or that you're mean.
or that I'm a closeted butch, which I might be.
Yeah.
That come from
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
So this is
I've
also
gotten that I'm mean.
right. And this is also me checking that privilege because I'm a guy, and I
Yeah.
think it's a lot easier for society to be okay with me being a little bit more open to both things. If anything, I'm so much more praised for being gentle. I'm so much more praised, dude. ¿Qué pasó con las señoritas aquí que limpian?
So we
Un
have
saludote para Doña Mari. Otro saludote para doña, ¿cómo se llama?
Paola.
Doña Paola, un saludote. Era, como dijo mi hermana, un beso en donde quieran.
Yeah, because we have these two cleaning ladies that we love, and they come and clean our house, and they every time they come, I'm usually working from home, so I greet them. And when they're here, it's a great opportunity for me to go get food or just kind of be out of the house for an hour. And siempre les digo, like, please feel free to grab if you want water, if you have drinks, if you want chips, lo que quieran, coman, si quieren unas galletitas, una fruta, lo que sea. This
Help
is
yourself.
your home. Help yourself. And they always tell me, muchas gracias, se lo agradezco. He says the exact same thing, and las señoras almost are like,
They live for it, dude.
Ay, mijo, qué lindo eres, voy a llorar, qué amable.
I swear to you, as I'm saying, like, you know, ahí hay agua, usan el baño, like, you know.
Lo que quieran, sí.
Lo que quieran, aquí en su casa. As I'm saying that, like, Doña Mari's like, ay, mijo, qué lindo.
Qué lindo.
And don't get me wrong, like, it makes me...
Voy a llorar, qué amable. And it's not to, like, call them out and be like, they're horrible people. No.
Huge shout out
They
to
probably
them.
don't even realize they're doing that. It just to shows how, like, when a man brings in these feminine qualities, they're praised a little more.
Right.
And
that's
nice. Like,
that's the Cheeto check.
That's the Cheeto.
Everyone, again, you guys, I really want this to be an insight because we can give you range, baby.
Ooh.
We can give you range. Jesse, show
range.
them range right now. Oh, skinny. Babe, show them range right now, please. Oh!
She's flexible, okay?
Y'all don't know that I have a cramp.
We can show range, and I just want this to be, because this is so important to me.
Yeah.
And I know this is important to you guys too.
Yeah.
Pero I want us to understand que if you define yourself as more masculine, I don't want to assume, but I kind of am gonna. I don't care what you think. I'm gonna assume.
You're gonna go there.
Maybe you're a guy.
Yeah.
Maybe you're a guy if you think of yourself more masculine.
Yeah.
Trust me, there's nothing wrong with expressing both things.
Yeah.
Just because someone says that they're a feminist or they're feminine doesn't mean they're gay. It doesn't mean that they're not masculine.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean they're less than a man.
Yeah.
Right?
It doesn't lessen their identity.
Right.
not at all.
And I want those people to really think and challenge themselves, because we have again, I'm assuming men. I'm assuming as men, we definitely have that privilege because we can do both and we can be praised for it. And you guys, as we're kind of describing right now, it's really difficult sometimes because I think a woman is so criticized the second they're here. They're so criticized, they're so judged for every aspect of your life and your body. And to me, it is insane.
Yeah. From birth.
From birth, immediately, we're like, brick. You're not a woman.
Well,
and it's you know, for me, I personally, genuinely, thoroughly, with all my goth heart, am really sad that men don't have the opportunity to live their lives freely. Haz lo que quieras.
Yeah.
Don't worry about your bros are gonna say. Like, it's crazy how men live their lives to impress other guys in a way that's not okay. I feel like women do that too, but we do it so freely. Like, we do our hair and makeup and nails.
Right.
So other girls can be like, girl, you ate that.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's one of those things, and men do it in, like, opposite ways, I think.
Let me tell you, men do it in such a, and I don't mean this in a negative term, but because it's the literal way I can describe it.
Yeah.
Men hype each other up in the gayest way. Like,
Shout out.
damn, bro, like, you know, like, exactly. You know, like, damn, bro, like, okay, so this is that kind of episode for this week, you guys. Hey, you know, we need this kind of conversation. This is something I really love about our podcast. Besides the womanhood that we can express.
Oh, right.
The woman.
Besides
they can't stand the womanhood up in LBP, okay?
Yeah. Oh, I like that. This is why I really enjoy our podcast, is because we have both perspectives.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like I want to hear more on like the woman side of perspective, on your guys' perspective.
Yeah.
Well, that might be for a different episode.
That's right.
And so for this
we
episode,
could keep
you guys,
talking about this.
Yeah, we can.
Yeah,
And so for this episode, you guys, I just really want to I want to thank you guys for sticking around for this episode. This episode is a very meaningful one to us. Mm-hmm. And I hope you guys were able to get something out of this. Remember that saying, donde hay piso hay cama, si hay pa mí, hay pa todos. Mm-hmm. Where there's a floor, there's a bed. If there's some for me, there's some for everybody.
That's
come
right.
uno, comen dos.
Exactly. And so, it's that time where we got to give a shout out. And this week's shout out. Go ahead, take it away, Jesse.
So, here's the thing. So, I went to go get some pho. And when I was there, I met a fan of ours, which was so cool. I had never been recognized on my own. And, I met someone. Her name is Jimena. I want to give her a huge fucking shout out. We met and she mentioned that her and her sister watch Los Brownies. So thank you guys so much. I want to give Jimena and her sister a shout out.
Shout out to the girls.
Shout out to you guys, to the girls. Thank you so much for coming up to us. If you ever see us out, like, if you ever do, come say hi, honestly, please, because I'm probably battling demons. So I need someone to come just give me a hug. I'm happy to chat, give a hug.
Dude, it's so funny because you had like chorro or something. You were going to go get some caldo.
No, tenía chorro. Don't be a liar. I was constipated.
Oh, my bad.
I was constipated. And and it's great. We talked. I gave her a hug. We recorded a video for her sister and everything. And
dude, if you have, if you have that video, send it to us.
Send it to me.
Man.
I know.
I really want to see. I want to see this bitch out in the wild.
So love you, Jimena. Thank you so much for coming up to us, and your whole family. Thank you so much for listening. And we love you guys.
So we have one thing to tell you, Jimena.
Alabio.
Alaba. Alabim. Bon. Ba. Jimena. Ra.